and all that stuff. It's day whatever, 4. I don't know. Let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night 4, day 4 of Toronto After Dark for my 31 Days of Horror. Today was a triple bill. It's late again. It's almost 4:30 in the morning. I don't have a glass of water here because I had a glass of water, and while I was setting up to do this video, I knocked it all over, and I just finished drying the computer off. Yeah. See, I poured myself a taller glass of water, so I wasn't used to the size difference, and just, yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Earlier, end of the night, basically I broke down, took a cab home instead of taking the bus. Saved me about an hour. Didn't go as late with the party because the party didn't go as late. Essentially, most of the crew that was still there left to go get food somewhere, and it was just me, the writer to the film Silent Retreat, and a friend of his from, I guess, way back in the day. So yeah, it is what it is, right? So Sunday, October 20th, Toronto After Dark, first film for what was that, 4:15, and that was the world premiere of the Canadian film Silent Retreat. Notice I was with the writer to close out the night. Now, I'm not going to get into too much detail and tell you what I thought, simply because I'm a little biased. The director Tricia Lee and the writer Corey Brown are friends of mine. I went to school with them, and I put some money towards it, full disclosure and such, right? So, yeah, I've been waiting to see the movie for a while now, about a year, I guess. And I'm glad I saw it. Unfortunately, the screening had a few technical difficulties, but the staff there managed to push through it and got the movie out, and we eventually saw it. I won't go into the problems of the screening and such and what it ended up costing, but yeah, considering the film actually isn't finished, a lot of people don't realize that, and a lot of people won't realize that having gone to see the screening. I was talking to Tricia at the pub tonight, and she was saying that tomorrow she's waking up and getting back to work, because I specifically asked her, what festivals, other festivals are they going to with this film, and she said, well, honestly, it's not done, so she wants to go in, get it finished before she submits it to any other festivals, but she wanted to submit it to Toronto After Dark and get it in there this year. So they submitted a very, 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 very rough cut of the film, apparently, and managed to get it in. So yeah, it's an interesting film. It has basically, a Silent Retreat is an actual retreat, and what it is in the movie is a place where they send girls who have had some run-in with the law, and it's sort of a rehabilitation camp, and the whole premise is you can't talk, you can't communicate, you can't do anything like that. It's a silent retreat, and it's funny because Tricia went to a silent retreat, essentially, not because she was in trouble with the law, but I guess it was some, I don't know, meditation type retreat type thing, and she went to it, and that's sort of where the idea came from. And she talked to the writer Corey about it, and eventually they came together with the script, which is part creature feature. There's a little monster in this movie. It's part yeah, it's got a lot of aspects. It's a psychological thriller a bit. It's yeah, it's got a message, a very prominent message about women and their voice and being heard, standing up for themselves and such. So it's got a lot going for it. It's I'd like to see the finished product once everything's done and not have, 2 stops in the middle of my screening. But what I did see of it, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the film. And that's an honest opinion. Not because they're just my friends, but because I did enjoy the movie. It was weird because the tone of the beginning of the film is you're watching it and it looks good. The performances are good, and there's obviously some skill behind the film, and you're kind of watching and you're going, okay, they're not showing anything, and the kills are sort of off screen. They never really show the monster. You see like a little shadows here and there, and I kept thinking, you know what? When you don't have a budget, that's how you get away with it, right? That's how you have a monster, a creature feature. You keep the monster in the dark. You never really show it. It's just quick jump cuts of stuff going on, so that you never really get a good picture of anything. So I was thinking, oh wow, okay, let's see how they take this, and then it climaxes at the end, and the creature comes out. You get to see the creature, and you get to see the blood, and there is gore, and there is everything you want from a creature feature, I guess. So there's multiple aspects to this film, and I think that might have been one of the problems with the film is it's both has 2 portions of the story, and yes, the 2 portions of the story go together to form this larger plot. But because you have these 2 things going on, you never really delve into either one of them to the detail that I think they should have been given. So, I think it's just under an hour and a half for the film. I think a good, had they added on another 15 minutes of, doing a bit more of the creature and a backstory and why things are going on, and doing a bit more of the camp and fleshing that out a little bit, giving a bit more of both of those stories so that you're not only in this world, but you understand it as well. Probably would have helped a little bit. That being said, I can see why they didn't, because it's one of those things. Everything is part of this build of explaining things and getting that message through right to the end, and the morality play of the film. That's the main point. So you try and keep on target there. But at the same time, I do know a lot of people were like questioning things, about the creature and about the camp and why things were, and it's one of those things where everybody kind of wants, not everybody, but a good portion of an audience wants to. Yes, they do like the mystery, but they like the mysteries to be solved. So if there's questions, if something leaves them with questions at the end, they're it kind of irks them, and there's a lot of why is this, why is that, how did this happen, how did that happen, and if you have too many of those questions and it's not intentional, then it can be a hindrance, and I think Silent Retreat may have fallen prey to that. Moving along, the 7 o'clock show was another Canadian film. This was the Canadian premiere of Septic Man, from Jesse T. Cook, who had a film previously in the festival called Monster Brawl. Now, this was put out there as being, an absolute gross out to the max. Like, you don't want to eat before you see this movie because you'll likely throw up. And I realize a portion of that is the marketing of the festival guys, and they do tend to play up things a little bit more than they need to be. And I think such was the case with Septic Man. It opens with an absolutely fantastic little scene that is, it's gross. It's probably the grossest portion of the film. But then it ends up being a man trapped in a cell and some of the things going around. And at that point, I didn't find it very entertaining. I get what they were trying to do, but the movie didn't thrill me. There were still some gross moments, but they weren't as gross as I was hoping for or I expected. And honestly, I could have eaten during the movie. It wouldn't have fazed me now. I mean, some people don't have the stomach that I do, and because I watch a lot of gory and gross movies, but for the most part, I was watching it, and I didn't get grossed out by it, short of that opening sequence that I mentioned previously. But honestly, I like the song that rolled over the credits. So I like the opening sequence, I like the end credits song, and it was the rest of it was kind of disappointing. To give you a little synopsis about what it is there's a problem, I guess, with the water supply in the town of Collingwood, and people are dying from it. And so this guy is brought in to try and find out where the problem is, and he's the Septic Man. That's, I guess, his company name, and so he's essentially a plumber. So he goes down and he ends up getting trapped in I don't know what it is, some kind of overflow basin of some sort, where and this is where it kind of lost me. He found a body in a tube, which I'm guessing was blocking something, and that was causing the disease. I don't know. So this water that this pit of sorts that he falls into eventually sort of turns him into this gross, toxic waste type person. But at the same time, the town's like, everything's okay. The fact that he pulled this dead body out of this tube unclogged it, and thus they were getting clean water again. I don't know. I lost that part of the film. It didn't make any sense to me. But so the town gets back to normal, but nobody knows he's in this place. And apparently there are these two French hillbillies who live in the sewers, and they're the reasons why there's bodies going into this thing. And so they keep killing people, and they don't let him out. So it's him trapped in this underground basin thing. The way I looked at it, I was like, it reminded me of Toxic Avenger. Like, the Septic Man character was like the Toxic Avenger, except for without the adventure and the fun and the comedy and the standard things that you would find with Trauma, except for the fact that it takes the trauma level of gross and ramps it up, so that it's more, I'd like to say realistic, but it compared to a Troma video like movie where things are very low budget, there was attention paid to making this look better than you might find in a Troma film like Toxic Avenger. So yeah, it's one of those things where, you know what, I'd like to see the Septic Man on the loose and see what he does, you know, out in public or something, but that would be another movie for another day. Yeah, I would hope that would, and honestly, in my mind, that makes a much better film, more entertaining. It's not that Septic Man is bad. It's not bad. It's just, it's kind of boring. You know, it just doesn't go anywhere. Which, you know, kind of sucks. Now, one thing I did really enjoy was Robert Maillet. He plays one of the hillbilly in the sewer, but I'm guessing he's a little slow, if you want to put it that way. So he plays the character really, really well, and you kind of get to feeling for him. Yeah, I liked his character. He was a good addition to the film. So yeah, if you're looking for something a little gross, check out Septic Man. It will be hitting store shelves eventually soon. I don't know, maybe VOD. I don't know if it's going to get a theatrical or not. I don't see it getting a theatrical enough, considering the subject matter, but yeah, look for it on, you know, DVD and Blu-ray and VOD soon. I'm sure it's going to be coming out. I think Anchor Bay has the rights to that one. Finally, the final film, the 9 o'clock film, is a film called Motivational Growth, and that's from Director Don Thacker, who is he's just a great guy. Like he's so much fun, and he's a talker. He likes to talk, and he's very intelligent. And this film is extremely smart, and what he's built into this film is beyond. Like, you ever watch a movie and you're going, oh, that something there obviously means something. Oh, that something there obviously means something. Well, with Motivational Growth, you may not say that something means something, but I'll tell you right now, everything means something. Some of them you should be able to figure out. Other ones you wouldn't know unless literally he told you. You may guess. You might say, oh, that might be this, but there's nothing in the film that really would give you a definite answer to that being the case. So yeah, there's everything from the events that are taking place to the what's there to where things are positioned to actions, people's words, especially dialogue. All of it has meaning, and it's not for everybody. Motivational Growth is one of those films that's going to be a cult classic, no doubt about it. It's fun. It seems a little long. The running time is over 100 minutes long, but it seems, I would say it seems more like 120 minutes easy. And for some people in the audience, I know that was a problem. Every time, it got to a point where basically it would almost have these cue card moments where it was just chapters, names of chapters type thing, and every time obviously one of those came up meant you were moving into the next chapter. So we're getting 3/4 of the way through the film, and I know some of the guys in front of where I was sitting were, every time one of those chapters would come up on screen, they'd be like, oh, because they knew It wasn't going to end when they wanted it to, but it would be continuing on because it's just starting a new chapter. So they got more story to tell. But I didn't mind that because there was just so much going on in this film. The how to give a synopsis of this? A guy has not left his apartment or his motel room or whatever it is in a very long time. He doesn't go out, and he essentially he sits on the couch and just watches television. Well, one day his television breaks. So this guy who essentially does nothing but watch television has nothing to do, and because he already feels he's a major loser, decides that you know what, he's got nothing else to live for. The last thing he had to live for was his television. Now all he's got to live for is to go to take a dump. There literally is a monologue about what taking a crap is, and how that's what he has to look forward to every day, and that's the only thing he has to look forward to. So it was sort of the life is shit moment, right? And so he decides he's gonna off himself, and he goes to make, I think it was chlorine gas. He was gonna gas himself out, and he sets it all up, and he's sitting there and he's waiting and he's trying to breathe in, and then he realizes, well, he's doing it all in his bathtub, and he realizes his bathroom is vented and it's all being sucked out this vent, so there's not enough concentration, I guess, to kill him. So he goes up. I'm guessing he's gonna either try and turn off the fan or cover the fan or do something, but he ends up falling and hitting his head. And when he wakes up, there's a giant mold in his bathroom that talks to him. And yeah, the rest of the movie is all the craziness that comes out of talking to mold. You know, you talk to yourself, you can talk to your cats, but once you start talking to the mold, you know, things have just gotten a little on the weird side. So, yeah, it's I really enjoyed the film. And it's one of the few films so far in the festival that I'm definitely going to revisit eventually. Like I said, this is a cult classic in the making. And there is so much technical prowess in the making of this film. It's clear. Even though this is Don's first film, he obviously knows a lot about the goings on in film world. Either that, or he's got a great memory and he's just picked up so many things along the way that he can just go with them. But he definitely has an eye for picking shots, how things need to be done, and stuff like that. So yeah, look forward to whatever comes next from Don Thacker. He is not only a great guy, but he's a talent that's something to look forward to on the horizon, and what he can do with an actual budget, because this looks amazing, and it was done for nothing. Well, it wasn't done for nothing. It was a couple $100,000 roughly, but still. Nice thing about it is Jeffrey Combs is the voice of the mold. And one thing that was done that was wasn't expected was his voicing. Essentially the mold's a puppet, right? And that was done live. So their puppeteers are there, and Combs is, I guess, on a on a microphone, and there was a speaker actually in the mold. So Combs is doing the dialogue, and the guy's talking to the mold, and that's done in camera, which was, when I found that out, that was unexpected. I didn't expect that. I figured, Combs would record his lines and stuff like that, and they would play it back, and the puppeteers would match that, and the guy would do his lines in return. But no, not only did he do it live, but there were several choices, essentially, of dialogue that could be gone through. And so the puppeteers didn't know what he was. They had an idea, they had a script to go by, but they didn't know which lines he was going to pick. They didn't know which, dialogue Combs was going to pick. So, getting that mouth moving with the words, we're sort of doing it on the fly, essentially. So, kudos to them. There's clearly some talent behind this film, and if you don't get to see it, it is one of those films that would probably be better off. Well, it's odd. I'd like to say it would work better in an audience, but because it is such a thinking film and not so much a comedy. I mean, there's comedic moments in it, don't get me wrong, but it's not one of those, laugh out loud over and over and over type comedies type thing. There are moments where it's just like, wow, that was odd, humorously odd, and a few moments where it is comedic, laugh out loud type stuff. So it's you don't really get that infectious thing that you might get from an audience necessarily, and then because there's no big special effects and stuff like that. If you can't see this in a film festival somewhere, it as far as I know will be coming to DVD. So I do suggest you check out Motivational Growth. It's definitely one of those films that's it's very different. You can't really liken it to anything else. You can't say, oh, it's very Cronenbergian or David Lynchian or M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dongian. It's not Spielbergian or George Lucas and whatever. It's just off the wall, batshit bizarre. So, yeah, that is it for today. I'm going to bed now. And yeah, got more videos to post up. And they'll keep coming. More movies tomorrow, and then day after that, all the way to Friday. And that's just for Toronto After Dark, so stay tuned. Lots more coming at you. Same Rob time, same Rob channel, right here. Till next time.